Hey everybody, nice to be with you again. Today I want to talk about components of the expository essay. So this is looking in more detail at thesis statements, topic sentences, and body paragraphs for this paper. So as always, I have a presentation that I want to talk through with you, and then we're going to look at an assignment that you have coming up for Monday. And I think what we're going to be talking about now will help you do that assignment for Monday. So let me go ahead and pull up the slides. So this presentation is on components of the expository essay. Again, we're looking at thesis statements, topic sentences, transitions, and body paragraphs. Let's start with thesis statements for this paper. Now, we've talked about thesis statements already in the narrative essay, and some of those things still keep in mind, still think about them when you create the thesis statement. So it's still 1 to 2 sentences long. Your thesis statement still comes at the end of the introduction. You still want it to be as specific as possible in 1 to 2 sentences, and it's still stating the main point of the essay. So now, we can think about what this particular thesis for the expository essay needs to include. It needs to include a couple things. It needs to include, of course, the topic that you're writing about, and you need to list 3 to 4 interesting facts or points that most people don't realize about the topic. After all, this is a topic that you have a lot of knowledge about or you're really skilled in, so you are sharing information about this topic that most people don't know. And also, one thing to keep in mind about organization, save your most important or the most surprising or the most interesting fact for last in your paper. So save the best for last. That holds true when writing an essay. Let's look at some examples now of thesis statements. Let's look at example 1 on the left. Let's say you're writing a paper about bowling. Here's one way you can write a thesis statement for this paper, and you can actually use these thesis statements as models. So here's example 1. Though many people are familiar with the game of bowling, most don't realize that competitive bowling is a multi-million-dollar sport, that there are over 300 professional bowlers in the United States, and that it is a sport with a rich 400-year-old history. So this person is, of course, stating their subject, bowling, and then they're listing, in this case, 3 things that most people don't realize about bowling. First, that it's a multi-million-dollar sport. Second, that there's over 300 professional bowlers in the United States. And third, that it's a sport with a rich 400-year-old history. Let's look at example 2, just to give you another one on the right side. Let's say you're writing a paper about raising chickens. This could be a sample thesis statement for that essay. Few people know that raising chickens requires a significant amount of work each day, extensive knowledge about poultry diseases and health, and a substantial amount of money. So again, you start off by stating the main subject, raising chickens, and then you list the 3 things most people don't know about this activity. That 1, it requires a significant amount of work. 2, it requires an extensive knowledge about poultry diseases and health. And 3, it requires a substantial amount of money. So those are 2 examples of thesis statements. Like I said, you can use these as models when you create your own. Now let's talk a little bit about topic sentences. So we didn't really talk about topic sentences with your narrative essay. The narrative essay, it was a little bit more kind of up to you what you talked about. The structure was a little less rigid there. But in this essay, structure is going to be a little bit more important. So that's why we're talking about topic sentences now. So the topic sentence, and you might already know this, is the first sentence of each body paragraph that states the main point or claim in that paragraph. It's especially important in an expository essay because it helps your readers follow how your paper develops and how your ideas connect to each other. Topic sentences must contain a transitional word or phrase. There are tons of transitional words or phrases. Here's just a couple to refresh your memory what these things are. They could be words like furthermore, in addition, however, also, another point is, or on the other hand, etc. We'll look at examples of those in just a second. And each topic sentence needs to state the 1 point in your thesis statement, and the topic sentences should be in the same order of points as they're listed in that thesis. So if you have point 1, point 2, point 3 in your thesis statement, the first body paragraph and the first topic sentence need to be about point 1 that's listed in your thesis. The second topic sentence and the second body paragraph needs to be about point 2, and so on. So just make sure the points in your thesis line up with the points in your topic sentences and body paragraphs. So here's an example of topic sentences. Let's go back. We'll use the thesis statement that we already saw about raising chickens. So you already have that thesis. Now we can see how you build the 3 topic sentences off of that thesis. So topic sentence 1 would be about the first point in the thesis, that raising chickens requires a substantial or significant amount of work each day. So your topic sentence could be, to begin, here's my transitional word, few people realize the amount of work that it takes every day to raise chickens. So you don't have to use the exact same language in your thesis statement, but it does have to clearly be addressing that first point that you did list in the thesis. Okay, so same idea, but you can use different words. Topic sentence 2, this is the second point from the thesis statement. Note how it starts with a transition. Furthermore, few people realize that it also takes an extensive amount of knowledge to understand how to care for chickens, especially when trying to avoid common poultry diseases. As the second point in my thesis, I elaborated on it a little bit more in this topic sentence, but it clearly lines up with that second point in my thesis. And then finally, topic sentence 3 is going to be on the third point that was in my thesis. I'll start with a transition. Finally, another point that few people fail to understand about raising chickens is that it requires a substantial amount of money to purchase them and raise them correctly. So as you can see here, the goal is clarity. You want the most clear kind of organization possible, and you'll get that if you go in the same order of points as you have them listed in the thesis statement. Now let's talk a little bit more about body paragraphs for this paper. So generally, the structure of body paragraphs, pretty straightforward. You have your topic sentence, we just talked about those. Then you give details or evidence supporting that topic sentence or elaborating on that main point. And then you have a closing sentence, a kind of wrap up to summarize what this paragraph has been about. Now, when you're thinking about the kinds of evidence or the different forms of details, the information that you have in your body paragraph, we've mentioned this before, you want a couple different things. You can draw from personal experience. You can look at historical or real-life examples. You can pull some statistics or facts from research. The key is you want more than just one kind of evidence or one kind of information in a paragraph. So to recap that, use at least 2 different kinds of evidence or details in each paragraph. Now, let's talk about what you're going to be doing for Monday. And if you want to get a head start over the weekend, that'd be awesome too. But what you're doing Monday is you're creating a more detailed outline for the expository essay. And I'm going to pull up the actual assignment in a second so we can look at it together. Now, once you have your thesis statement and topic sentences drafted, just sketch those out on a piece of paper so you have in your mind what those are going to be. Then you can create a more detailed outline for the paper. So this is what you do before you start actually writing the rough draft of the essay. I think it will help. So just basically, an outline has at least 3 sections: your introduction, your body, and your conclusion. The body section is further broken down by paragraph. You'll probably have 2 to 4 body paragraphs for this section. And it kind of depends on how much you have to say about your topic and how many different points you are bringing up. The outline for the expository essay assignment is due Monday, at the end of Monday, June 3rd. So what I'm going to do is I'd like to go ahead and I'm going to pull up that assignment so we can look at it together and talk through it just a little bit more, and I think that will help you be prepared to start on this assignment over the weekend or to complete it on Monday. So let me go ahead and pull it up. I think here it's at the bottom of my screen, and I'll get out of the way. Okay, so the outline for the expository essay assignment is due at the end of the day, June 3rd, which is Monday. So now that you know how to create the thesis statement and topic sentences, and by the time you're working on this outline, you will have watched the video on the orientation for the library, how to find information about your topic in the library's online databases. So you'll have all that done. Then you're going to complete the following outline for your expository essay. In this outline, you want to include research facts with a signal phrase and in-text citation in your outline at least once. So, in the beginning of your outline, here's your introduction section. There are, I would recommend, 3 components of your introduction outline. 1, your opening 1 to 2 sentences. How are you going to get your reader's attention? How are you going to get them interested? Remember, part of this essay, part of the purpose of this essay is to entertain them. So how are you going to grab their attention right from the start? Then add in 1 or 2 sentences in your outline with some background information about the topic. This is a really good moment to pull in some research about your topic, maybe some statistics or facts, either about the history of, if it's a sport or activity you're writing on, or if it's something that a lot of people do, how many people are involved in this activity or sport, how long has it been around, anything that readers might need to know to help them better understand the subject before going into some of the more specific details that you'll be talking about in your body paragraphs. And then finally, at the end of your introduction section, thesis statement, that's where it goes. After your introduction, then you're going to scroll down and start looking at the first body paragraph. So your outline for the first body paragraph will have 3 parts. 1, your topic sentence. And this is, of course, based on your first point in the thesis. 2, 1 form of information to elaborate on this first point. So remember, that can be personal experience, statistics, research facts, or quotes from authorities, real life or historical examples, etc. And then 3, a second form of information to elaborate on this first point. So if you're bringing in some research here, make sure you use that signal phrase in front of it and the in-text citation at the end, because that's exactly what needs to go in your paper when you actually start drafting the paragraphs. So you're going to follow the same format when you do the outline for body paragraph 2, topic sentence, 1 form of information to elaborate, second form of information to elaborate, same thing for body paragraph 3, and then your conclusion. I would recommend has 3 points as well. First, restate your thesis. What are your main points? Do that again, but here's the catch. Don't use the same exact words that you used in the thesis. Try to use new language. It might help readers understand things from a different perspective or in a different way, and that can be beneficial. 2, you need a statement explaining what your reader has learned after reading this paper and/or why your paper is valuable. And then 3, the last section of your outline for the conclusion, give a final closing thought. One thing that you might want to do is go back to something that you brought up in the introduction, whether that was a real-life example, whether you're talking about a personal experience that you had. If you can return to that topic at the very beginning of your introduction, it's a nice way to kind of connect the ending to the beginning of your paper. It's just a nice kind of way to wrap up. Just an idea. But you definitely want to have some kind of final closing thought in your outline. So this is what you are going to be doing for Monday. I hope you found that helpful. As always, if you have questions, let me know. But I think by doing this outline, you're going to set yourself up to have a really strong rough draft that will be due later next week for the expository essay. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope you have a really nice weekend, and I will be in touch soon. Bye, everybody.